On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous. Beneath it were the words,
evaluate where you are. Look at it, assess yourself. Assess yourself and assess the situation. What brought you there? What role did you play?
you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
Pretending that we're satisfied where we are, pretending that everything is okay, pretending that we don't have any special goals or ambitions or desires, when really deep down inside we do really want more. Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. It's time for you to look within yourself and decide that I'm in charge of my destiny. I'm in charge here. Insanity is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting a different outcome. I remember at a period of my life I was going to work and I was working on a job that I hated, and at the same time I was praying that I wouldn't get fired. I was praying that I wasn't laid off. I was miserable. Nobody was holding a gun to my head. But I showed up every day and I used a flimsy excuse. Well, I got to pay the bills. I've got a car payment I have to pay. I have a family, I have children, I have a car note, and I have a mortgage note I have to pay. I've got to survive. I was showing up for a paycheck. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not living. And a friend of mine said, you know when people change? And I said, no. He said, when they get to the point when they say, I've had it. I've had it.
I was kind of maniacal. I didn't believe in weekends. Until I was about 30, I didn't believe in vacations at all. Stay up all night. So for my 20s and 30s, I think the Microsoft thing was perfect.
What has brought you to this point? What did you learn from it? I remember a story about a lady who went to the doctor and she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she came home and she was sitting at a table and she was drinking some coffee, and all of a sudden she just looked up and she said, I refuse to die an unlived life. I refuse to die an unlived life. And she decided that she was going to live. Are you learning anything, or are you doing it over and over and over again? The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. That's where the work is. See, anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships, the children are acting normal. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. Am I correct? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what's using my life? How you handle it. That's where the growth takes place. Insanity is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting a different outcome. Pretending that we're satisfied where we are, pretending that everything is okay, pretending that we don't have any special goals or ambitions or desires, when really deep down inside we do really want more. People tell you, oh yeah, one day I want to have a restaurant. See, they're pretending they want to go into business for themselves. They're not serious. How can you tell, Les? Watch their actions. Watch what they're doing. The proof is in the pudding. So if you want to do something, if you've thought about something you want to do, take it head on. Decide that you're going to start looking at it, start doing research on it, start tackling it, start becoming involved in whatever and wherever it might lead you to begin to explore the possibilities in that particular thing that you're seeking. Decide that you're going to face it, that whatever shortcomings you have, that you're going to strengthen yourself there. Whatever training that's required, that you're going to go get that training, that you're going to get started right now. Most people go through life quietly and safely, tiptoeing to an early grave. You got to live what's in you. Life is just too short and unpredictable. See, whatever you decide to do, look at it and find out what is it that I have that I could bring to the table. No one's going to produce your product. No one's going to write your book. No one's going to open your academy. That's your idea. People die at age 21 and don't get buried until they're 65. If you died today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts?
It is not the things we do in life that we regret on our deathbed. It is the things we do not. For the reaper will come for all of us. The question is, what do we do between the time we're born and the time he shows up? We don't beat the reaper by living longer. We beat the reaper by living well and living fully.
When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. So yes, I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation.
You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.
Dedication, hard work. Dedication, hard work. I'm a one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still come out on top.
Work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen.
Relax and dream up a good life.
And you will need to find your passion. So your passion must come from the things that fuel you from the inside. And honors and awards are nice things, but only to the extent that they regard the real respect from your peers. And to be thought well of by other people that you think even more highly of is a tremendous honor that I've been granted. Find your passion, and in my experience, no matter what you do at work, or what you do in official settings, that passion will be grounded in people. And it will be grounded in the relationships you have with people and what they think of you when your time comes.
Because everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
And if nothing else, I hope that all of you can find that kind of passion and that kind of love in your life.
As someone who's done what you're about to go and do, I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling.
Find your passion and follow it. And if there is anything I have learned in my life, you will not find that passion in things. And you will not find that passion in money. Because the more things and the more money you have, the more you will just look around and use that as the metric, and there will always be someone with more. And if nothing else, I hope that all of you can find that kind of passion and that kind of love in your life.
I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion.
So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
This painting took me thousands of hours to complete.
You will start that process of change. Do something different the next 90 days than you did the last 90 days. What you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you've become.
As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass.
Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later.
It's not what happens that determines the major part of your future. It's not what happens. What happens, happens to us all. He said the key is what you do about it.
The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting.
To find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Once that button is functioning in your life, there's no story that the mind could create that will be as compelling. My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself.
And one day, I'm going to have my own business.
There will always be someone who's doing better than you. No matter what you gain, ego will not let you rest. It will tell you that you cannot stop until you've left an indelible mark on the earth, until you've achieved immortality.
But I'll tell you, once you throw the towel in, you're done. You got to learn what you can do and what you can't do. You got to take some things in one ear and out the other ear. And when you do that, you'll be a lot better off. But all of a sudden, when something does go wrong, or unexpectedly, a tragedy or whatever, you got to apply that in a way that can take you and bring you to a higher level than you've ever been.
If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside.
It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on.
No excuses. No victim mentality. The world owes you nothing. And if you start from the feeling that you need the world to participate in order for you to be successful at taking on this new thing that you're considering doing, you're right to be scared. But if you start from the perspective that the world owes you nothing, which it doesn't, you have nothing to lose. Because really, isn't that, for every one of the people you brought onto your team, isn't that how you want them to feel when they report to you? You don't want excuses. That doesn't mean that you can't fail or that they can't ever fail. But right when you're starting, you have nothing to lose. So you can't lose. Spend 99% of your time imagining what would happen if things went well and planning for that. Because there's no downside. It's like a free option on an adventure.
This is hard. Every day is hard. And if you don't have the stomach to weather the storm, you will not be successful.
Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle.
Don't allow but to keep you in the corner, keep you up in the bleachers, looking at life, being a spectator, not being a participant, making a difference in life.
You come in every day fired up.
How many of you thought about some things that you know that you deserve or you want out of life or you would like to enjoy, experience, and you found yourself blocking yourself? Raise your hand if that ever happened to you before. Why aren't you doing what you really want to do? Oh, I can do it, but just kept on coming up. We block ourselves and we use these words almost like we're in a trance, like we're sleepwalking through life, that we find ways to cancel out our dreams. And I think that but is a dream killer. That a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of places we would like to go, a lot of things we would like to experience, and we just stop at but. But is an argument for our limitations. And when we argue for our limitations, we get to keep them. See, but will cause you to procrastinate. But will cause you to hide out behind fear. But will cause you to come up with all type of excuses that you can validate your inaction and not acting on your dream. And right now, more than ever, people need to look for ways to live their dream. People need to look for ways to make it on their own. To build a case on why you can't move on, why you can't grow to the next level, why you can't begin to manifest your greatness, why you can't begin to live life on your terms. Always something there to block you, to keep you where you are, and keep you from beginning to develop your true greatness. Always some fear. How do we handle it? And I'm saying that if you've been hiding out behind but, if you've been using the fact that you don't have enough money or you don't have the education, take it head on. Go get the education.
Get your ass kicked, get back up, and you put the gloves back on and you swing away.
I'm the greatest thing that ever lived. I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest.
Inspire people, don't instruct people. Concentrate on how you can inspire people, not instruct people. You want to change the world? You don't change them through instruction, you change them through inspiration. They don't write about lives that instructed other people, they write about the great lives that inspired other people. Your life, your choice. Heraclitus said, every 100 soldiers in war, he said 10 of them don't even fucking belong there. 80 of them are just targets. Nine of them do most of the fighting. The one, he is a warrior. Be a warrior in your life. Don't be one of the millions, be one in a million.
You've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. So yes, I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation.
Never say never. Because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.
Be a warrior in your life. Don't be one of the millions. Be one in a million.
What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith.
Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it.
But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it.
I've never really viewed myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. You know, while the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working.
Dedication, hard work. Dedication, hard work. I'm a one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still come on top.
I listen to my gut instincts. You're genius. Your gut instincts, they're the purest form of truth that there is.
I want you to live the life that you came here to live. To be you, not be anybody else. When every answer that you need is already in you.
I've never seen any human being. I've traveled all over the world many times. I've never seen one human being who didn't have the potential in them to live a great, incredible life.
There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled.
You don't need to ask others for fucking answers. They're there in you if you will ask yourself.
But I've met many who refuse to choose to do so.
The captain said to the guy, listen, he said, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock you can face the firing squad, or you can go out this door over here. And the guy said, what's out the door? He said, no one knows. All we can tell you is just unknown horrors. He thought, and the next morning he selected the firing squad. A lot of people never do the things they want to do. A lot of people stay on jobs where they're miserable. After the shots rang out, the captain's secretary said, what's beyond that door? And he said, freedom. Many of us choose an active living death. Many of us are walking dead. The walking dead. That we're not doing what we want to do. Many of us stay in relationships where we're dying together rather than growing and expanding and living together. After the shots rang out, the captain's secretary said, what's beyond that door? And he said, freedom. But very few people would select to do it because it's unknown.
Doing genius stuff, doing something original will never be built up from things that make fucking logical sense. Again, you can be successful, but if you think just having things, having the biggest business, having the most clients, if you're having the most money in the bank, getting a new car every 6 months, having the new threads, if you think that makes you happy, then go fucking check out the entertainment magazines. The wealthiest people in the world are the most fucking miserable. Don't live beyond your means. There's a reason for that. They're not being themselves. They're not being true to who they are. They're not being them.
She was a prolific writer. And what got me, what was so sad that made me begin to cry, was that there were poems that she had started that were profound poems, great thoughts that she didn't complete. Plays that she had started that she didn't complete. See, that poem was given to her. I can't finish that for her, nor can you. That play, whatever the outcome that she had envisioned, that she had imagined, was given to her. Only her, and she's the channel that was going to come through. You are here, and you are the vessel, you are the outlet for the universe, that you've been selected. There's something for you to do. I believe all of us have some purpose for being here. If you don't program yourself, life will program you.
I have spent my whole life scared, frightened of things that could happen, might not happen. 50 years I spent like that, finding myself awake at 3 in the morning.
Evaluate where you are. Look at it, assess yourself. Assess yourself and assess the situation. What brought you there? What role did you play?
He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never acted on those ideas, you never pursued that dream, you never used those talents, we never saw your leadership, you never used your voice, you never wrote that book, and there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever.
Everyone is frightened of something. Or it may be the fear of death, fear of loneliness, fear of not being loved, fear of not becoming famous, successful. There are so many multiple forms of fears. It darkens the world, it destroys everything. And I don't think we can discuss fear without also discussing the pursuit of pleasure. The two are the two sides of the same coin.
Reason, logic, common sense. You discovered a talent, developed an ambition, and recognized your passion. When you feel that, you can't fight it. You just go with it. When it comes to the arts, passion should always trump common sense. You aren't just following dreams, you're reaching for your destiny. You're a dancer, a singer, a choreographer, a musician, a filmmaker, a writer, a photographer, a director, a producer, an actor, an artist.
I came to realize it's that fear that's the worst of it. That's the real enemy.
If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to jump. You got to take a leap of faith. A lot of times you stand on the cliff of life and you see other people soaring by, gliding down like a bird flying through the air. They flying by. You know why? It's because their parachute open. But the only way to get your parachute to open so you can soar, you got to jump. Now here's the problem. Here's the problem, my friends. When you jump, I can assure you one thing. You listening? I promise you this. Your parachute will not open right away. That's the fear part. I promise you your parachute will not open right away. You're gonna hit them sides of them rocks. You're gonna tear your back out on them cliff. You're gonna cut yourself. You're gonna get wounded. You're gonna get some tears and stuff like that. But eventually, the parachute will open and you'll be soaring. If you do not jump, I promise you one thing. Your parachute will never open.
We have to love life more. We have to love life more.
You got to jump.
Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script, and the working title is, I'll Never Be Enough.
Now that you've made your choice, or rather succumbed to it, your path is clear. Not easy, but clear. You have to keep working. It's that simple.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Every morning you wake up, there are two doors. And there are thundering knocks at each one of them. Behind one lies your destiny and living. Behind the other lies death. Living is engaging your life with intensity and passion. Once you get through all the pages and all the rules and all the principles and all the formats and all the plans and all the templates, it comes down to that. Do the fucking work. Start today. I don't care when your life clock started ticking. You can start fucking right now today. By 6/16, you can change your fucking perspective of the world and of your life. My advice? Fucking do it. Dig fucking deep and get it done.
the one of your life.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. Just when you think you know something, you have to look at it in another way. Even though it may seem silly or wrong, you must try. Boys, you must strive to find your own voice, because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all. Thoreau said most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Don't be resigned to that. Break out.
I suddenly had this kind of thing wash over me where I thought, imagine chasing that and not getting it, and getting it finally in your 80s or your 90s with all of life behind you and realizing what an unbelievable waste of your, it can't fill you up. It will never, if that's a hole that you have, that won't fill it. I imagined another one of me, you know, an old man, kind of going like, oh my God, where did my life go? What have I done?
Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later.
And if you don't bring your idea out here, when you die, all of us will suffer because we've been deprived of your genius because you allowed but to keep you in the bleachers and not pursuing your greatness. You take it to your grave with you.
I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees.
Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you've imagined.
And if you can't summon up the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm for something, then your life every day is going to be a drag to wake up to. When you crawl out from underneath the covers every morning and you sit on the edge of the bed, you have a choice before you.
Decide whatever you want to do, that you are now going to become actively involved right now, exploring the possibilities for you. That you're going to look at it and do just a little bit of it right now. Decide to do it now. There's no guarantees you're going to show up tomorrow. There are a lot of people who were here yesterday that they're not here today. There are a lot of opportunities that were around yesterday. They're not here today. Oh, you can wait, but you know what Abraham Lincoln said? Well, good things might come to those who wait, but only the things that have been left over by those who hustle.
When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not far from here in Menlo Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic touch. This was in the late 60s, before personal computers and desktop publishing, so it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. It was sort of like Google in paperback form 35 years before Google came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions. Stuart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog, and then, when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish.